Hi, I'm Tom Loucks, Wisconsin Rapids Community Media Coordinator here for the city of Wisconsin Rapids. And today we have a new show in the studio, and we're going to be thinking about a name over the next couple of months. And if you guys can help us with that, give me a call or give Arnie or Don. These guys are from the town of Grand Rapids. Don Bohn is the fire chief, and Arnie Nystrom, he is our town board chairman. And welcome, guys, to the show.
Thank you for inviting us, Tom.
Yeah. And we're going to get to try to do this monthly, but we have quite a bit on the agenda that we're going to talk about, so you guys can become informed, and we'll play this twice a week as well. It'll be on our Facebook page, and you'll also be able to get it on the Grand Rapids page as well, so there's going to be plenty of places. So I'm going to turn it right over to you guys. Don, introduce yourself, and then we'll get right into your questions.
Yeah, Don Bohn, Fire Chief. Been in the position of Fire Chief for 5 years now. Been with the Fire Department for almost 35, so real familiar with the town. Enjoy my time in service to the town so far.
And Arnie.
Arnie Nystrom, position is the chairman. I've held that for 5 years now. I've been in town government since 1995, so I guess I have a lot of experience, and as they say, I've seen it all probably, but something else will come up once in a while.
Welcome you guys both again. Well, let's talk about the season. It's budget season.
So I wanted to share that with the public that we are being fiscally responsible. We do work with our neighbors, as we do with fire contracts. We do share services. If the village of Bohn needs us to bring our grader over there to grade some roads for them, we do that. They in turn will help us with their sewer jet machine that they have to maybe suck some sand out of. So we do share services as much as we talk. And when Don talks about fire, I'm sure he's going to talk about the mutual aid programs that we have in place and how well we work together. You know, Safe Stats, it's some websites out there that monitor statistics to kind of give the realtors some things to say, okay, this is a good area or this is a okay area. They rate us at an E-. The crime and safety rating is an A. The housing is a B+. Schools are an A-. Cost of living is an A-. And outdoor activities is an A-. So we rate pretty well. We have a lot of growth. And if things continue to grow as they are, we're just coming out of our construction season now. We have 23 home starts this year. That's the highest number we've had since 2005.
Well, Don's sitting over here, and I want to talk to him a little bit about the budget for the fire department and how did that go, and to your liking of what you need to provide fire services for Grand Rapids as well as any of the other contracts that you have. Are you able to do that? And then we'll talk about some other things that you have on this desk.
Okay. Yeah, we came through our budget as presented. Obviously, you know, anything in the fire EMS side of things, you know, it's not as we say, a cheap business to be in. The cost of the fire apparatus and stuff is, you know, it's getting scary when you check on the prices. The life expectancy of a truck is in the 20-year range. We do have a couple vehicles that are approaching that. So we're like every department, every city around is trying to figure out how we can fund these replacements of equipment. You know, sometimes the worst enemy we have is our winter crutch, I should say, is our salt that we put on our roads. The majority of these trucks, they don't have a lot of hours on them, they don't have a lot of miles on them, but the corrosion that starts attacking these fire apparatus are the, you know, is kind of our nemesis. So like you say, we're trying to get every year we can out of them, but we are approaching the need to replace an engine, like I know a lot of communities in the area are. It's a big investment, but it's a big investment that's going to serve the community for in the 20 to 25 year range. The other, you know, issue we always have is personnel. You know, we have a little different system in place than what the City of Rapids has. They have full-time staff. They're 24/7. We still operate as a volunteer service. I am full-time. Everybody else on my fire department is either has a job elsewhere or retired. So like you say, we're a little more dependent on the citizens to step up. Currently, we have 42 people on our staff. That sounds like a lot. That's actually more than what the city of Rapids has to draw from, but everybody has a life. Everybody has a job outside of the fire department. They have their family activities, things of that nature that they need to attend to. We need to understand that people are going to be on vacations the same as they are with full-time staff. So keeping the staffing levels at a area where we can feel comfortable that we can, at least get that initial attack. Arnie had mentioned earlier about mutual aid. Mutual aid is a wonderful tool. We can call on any of our neighbors to assist us, but you have the delay in notifying them. You have the delay in them responding to their station, and then the delay of actually the travel time getting here. So it's not a cure-all. It's a necessity. Of all the volunteer and the full-time departments rely on mutual aid, quite extensively. A lot of times you'll see in a paper that, there'll be 5 or 7 fire departments respond to a call. Well, that's sometimes due to staffing levels. If everybody's at work, like you said, it's sometimes a little short on staffing. So we do the best we can. We're obviously always looking for people that want to join the fire department. There's no requirement that you live in the town of Grand Rapids. I would love to have everybody that lives within about a block or so of the fire station come join up, but we're not seeing that in any great amounts. We do have staff on our department that live in the city of Wisconsin Rapids, quite a few of them actually, because the population in in the city is typically going to be the younger people are going to be buying their first home in the city. So that's where we're picking up some staff. We have some out in our contracted areas of Grant and Saratoga. And like I say, we're willing to look at people. Obviously, we'd prefer everybody to be closer, but we have to take who we can get to go through the process.
You guys have a lot of feet, a lot of miles, I should say, to cover, all the way out to 54, Highway 80, right? Or, some of that area.
That's just in Grand Rapids.
That's just in Grand Rapids. Yeah. So, yeah, you got a lot of areas to cover. So that's where you could call mutual aid if needed. So what would happen if you got a call like now?
Right now, well, to start with, I would be leaving. So I was a little late for this meeting. I had to respond to a medical call. Like you say, as a full-time chief, I'm expected to do that. That's one thing in Grand Rapids. The medical call we were on, you had the fire chief, you had the police chief, you had the police officer that was on duty. We all come to help. You have the ambulance staff that comes. We have our first responder people that are part of our fire department that respond to every medical call in Grand Rapids, or we get called into the town of Grant quite frequently. Their first responder squad is limited resources also, so we get called out there quite frequently. And like I say, you'd be surprised who all shows up to your ambulance call when you call for help, but I guess we pride ourselves in having extra help compared to a shortage. So,
and they all have their jobs. They know what they should be doing, whether one person is recording the information that's being found from the first responders and assisting, or grabbing their cots, or for some cases, driving the ambulance.
I didn't know you guys did all medical calls as well. It's not just battling fires.
No, we have
more than that.
Yeah, we have some individuals that are only on our referred to EMS. They're a big asset to the fire. If we have a structure or things of that nature, they come and help us with taking care of the firemen, taking care of the people that were that called us to start with. But then if the fire department personnel needs assistance, rehab monitoring to make sure that we're not going to have a fireman go down. So they're a vital part of our community. We're always looking for just things. It's a simple 60-hour class to go through Mid-State Tech, and then it's hands-on experience learning. So it's an easy way for people to serve their community. The fire side of stuff, like I say, is a little more, the typical firefighter, when they get on the fire department, is going to go through approximately 200 hours of schooling through the technical college system to become a certified firefighter. That is something that we have to have, certified firefighters, but I guess actually we're going to be starting a kind of a drive to try to come up with some other staff. When you look at our fire calls, probably 2 to 3 are actually fighting structure fires. The vast majority of our calls are motor vehicle accidents, grass fires, you know, everything from cat in the tree to, you know, everything that, anything that comes up. There's a lot of what we do that you don't have to have the certified people take care of. So we're actually going to be approaching the public. We're hoping that we can come up with, you know, maybe we can only come up with 10 more people. But if we can get people that, you know, we're kind of considering them a non-structural firefighter, limited commitment. Obviously, we still have to go through a training process and stuff to train them on the tasks that we're going to ask them to do. But a lot of people have no interest in going into a burning building. You know, they have their wife, their families, all the things that, you know, they aren't real comfortable with that. But they are willing to help their community. So if we can get some people that are willing to, on a limited basis, a restricted basis, so we know they're not going to get put in that position, that they can still come out and help us with the 92% of the calls, 95% of the calls, that we can utilize them. So I guess, you know, we've talked to people that everybody's lives are so hectic. They don't know, you know, they don't know which way to turn because they got soccer in Appleton and they got hockey over in Beloit and things of that nature. But once people get to where their children are out of the house a little bit more, they're still, maybe they're in their late 40s or 50s. Life's starting to slow up a little bit. The kids are driving, they're off to college. I guess we're really hoping that we can come up with some citizens that would consider joining the fire department. You know, in that aspect, you know, help out where it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be 2 meetings in a month that you come to, but it's sometimes the most rewarding thing you'll ever do is to be able to go out and say, hey, I helped somebody out on their worst day. You know, even Arnie structure fire, there's so many tasks that you don't need to be a firefighter to accomplish. And so, like I say, we're going to be looking for that. We obviously still want to recruit the younger people to be the active firefighters, but if we can get some people involved and get people to step up a little bit and help their community out, and because, like you said, the tax rate that we pay is proportional to the expenses. If you know, if the you know, I said, if you can't afford your volunteer fire department, wait till it's gone. And you know, it's something that's been around this country for hundreds of years. Probably 85% of the fire departments in America are volunteer services yet, but they're all struggling. There's not a department out there that's not struggling for staff, and like I said, hopefully people can find some point in their life that they can give a little back to the community and step up and help us out with stuff.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for young, and you said there's an age limit, 18 and older?
Well, you have to be 18 in order to go through the schooling and be certified. Like you said, we can, you know, we can look at people on a little bit younger. I mean, I would love to see the person that's got a 17, 18-year-old son that wants, you know, has an interest in becoming a firefighter. Not just get the son involved, get the son and the father involved, or the mother. We have a couple phenomenal women that are on our fire department. They do a great job for us, and that's a very untapped market that's out there. There's a lot of young ladies that go through the fire training, you know, in total, and like you said, the EMS side of things is a great place to help out for men or women. And like I say, it'd be nice to, like I said, it's a little different family activity. But, you know, we've had some very good success of people that have 2, 3 of their children get on the fire department after they've been on and stuff. So, you know, like you say, maybe we can turn it the other way and start out with the son that wants to get on because he has interest in, you know, advancing and making a full-time career. And we can get the father to come along. And
Yeah, what
Or
a
the
great
mother.
opportunity, and they just need to give you a call, right?
All they have to do is, they can stop in and see me anytime, call the fire station, they can stop at the municipal center.
Okay.
They can contact us off our webpage, Facebook, there's all
Okay.
kinds of, different ways to get in contact with us, and, like I say, it's a very rewarding, like I said, there's nothing is better than helping somebody out on their worst day, and,
Yeah, definitely.
it's amazing the little things that I've seen us do over the years that have impacted and realize the little insignificant things at the time, how it affects somebody when they just lost every possession they have.
Yeah, sad time.
Yeah.
And you're there to help out. Well, if you're just joining us here on Wisconsin Rapids Community Media, I have two individuals, Bohn, Fire Chief at Town of Grand Rapids, as well as Arnie Nystrom, the board chairman. And this is a new program that we're planning to try to do monthly. And this is our first episode, taping this here 2 days before Thanksgiving, and we want to thank you for joining us. We're probably a little bit more than halfway done with the program, and we have a few more things that we're going to ask Don, and but I'm going to turn it right back over to Arnie and just kind of want to touch base with any pieces of any holiday hours that you might have mentioned for the municipality
Sure.
that people come, or anything with snow plowing that has to be thought about. It's the season, we're going to be having that. I don't know if you guys don't have fire hydrants, and I guess you can answer that, but
Right.
yeah, tell me a little bit about those things, and then we'll go to
Sure.
Don and talk about this fire protector, or fire detector, because that was October's Fire Safety Month. We'll recap that.
Well, thanks again. One thing I want to bring is that we do have a new, and one of our clerks for a number of years actually is moving out of our community, so we had an opening. We did receive, we did let the public know. We received several individuals to express the desire and gave the people an opportunity to speak to the board. It was Andrew Simon on the board until April. If he chooses to run for the position, he'll have to sign up just like anybody else in December of this year to fill that position. There's 2 board positions opening. It would be his, which I said, and Supervisor Bill Clendenning is also up for things. Now, getting to snow plowing season, and yes, quarter, our crew has our 3 plow trucks, 2 end loaders, a payloader, and a grader all ready. They're ready to go. The blades are sharpened, as they say, and just waiting. One of the things that Grand Rapids, being a community that's kind of subdivision generated, we have a lot of subdivisions, whatever, and roads don't tend to be totally perfectly straight. They like the aesthetics of a curved street. We do allow residents to put markers on the edge of the road. However, we require them to buy them from us, so that way we know we're not getting markers out there that are going to cause the truck to hit it and have an issue. They're breakaway type. They need to buy them us, and they need to keep them 3 foot off of the paved portion of the road. People like to fudge on that a little bit, and every year they get closer and closer. Nobody likes to get the edge of your what you consider your grass turned up a little bit with a blade, but it does happen. I mean, middle of the night trying to determine where 11 foot on the road is not always that possible. So we do get out and start plowing when there's main roads. Basically, as soon as we see a good dusting, we're on them with our crew. If the snow continues on and we get what we think to be 3 inches or more, and then we're going to plow all the town roads, or typically depending on the snow. We have three full-time crew members. We have 3 or 4, maybe 4 part-timers that do come in and they're on call. All experienced people. They plowed for other people. Matter of fact, one of them is a retired employee from the city of Wisconsin Rapids that just loves to plow. So, but we do the best we can. We tell the residents if there's some problem areas that you know about, you need to let us know. You call the town office and we'll address those. Sometimes the roads get pretty slippery real quick. We do the best we can. We try to limit the salt. Quite frankly, salt, not only is it expensive, as the chief indicated, it is corrosive to the roads or to the vehicles that are on it. So we try to limit it, but there's times when safety reasons you need to do it, especially when we have some roads that have creeks down at the bottom of it. You'd have to go down and you have to go back up. So.
Yeah, definitely. Now, is there any parking available during the evening on your streets at all?
Typically, if we're going to plow the town, we do call a snow emergency. We call it into the radio station and whatever. We put it on the town's Facebook page. And by the way, if you're a resident and you do have Facebook, you might want to look up Town of Grand Rapids Facebook page. We do put notices there when things are going to happen. If we know we're going to have an emergency, whatever, it's put on there. It's probably your first source of information. We do use that for other means. If there's some crimes that we're having some issues trying to resolve, we'll put a request out there, and quite frankly, so far it's been good. The public does respond really well.
Yeah, definitely. Facebook is a winner for everybody. A lot of people on it nowadays, and but we'd be glad to help you too if you want to let anybody know at the town or yourself if you want stuff on this channel. For people that don't use it, feel free to get it to us and we'll get it on there. So that's part of what we do. So we do it for city, we'll do it for you guys as well. So a little bit more time left. Don, let's talk a little bit about this as well as a recap of October, which is Fire Safety Month.
Yeah, I guess we made it through October, Fire Safety Prevention Month. Obviously, we do a lot of activities that month. We have, whether it's schools that come to visit us or us that go to visit the schools. We try to talk about fire prevention from the 4K up to the 2nd grade. And we really enjoy it. We have some pretty good interaction with the children, letting them get in and out of the trucks. I guess that's part of the thrill of being on the fire department, is seeing the gleam in those little kids' eyes when they look at the fire truck and can crawl up in the front seat and actually, maybe someday they'll be sitting there for real. Part of it is fire prevention. We really want to continue. Fires have been trending that we're having less and less every year. We don't know exactly why. We hope it's because of fire prevention. We try to tell people to be safe. A big part of what we do is fire inspections at all the commercial buildings and stuff in the town to try to ensure we can, if we can stop that fire from starting. We do the same thing with homes. We like to make sure that people have their smoke detectors working. Fire Prevention Week is a great week to change your batteries. Some people do it on changing of the time. Whatever day you pick to change them is great, as long as you change them and don't take them out in between. We have a program in conjunction with the American Red Cross. They're actually doing this basically statewide, that's available to any fire department. Kitty Fire is providing the smoke detectors. They are the extended ones. They have 10-year lithium batteries in, so you don't have to change them every year. But basically, at the end of the life cycle of the or the detector, after 10 years, you throw it away, put a new one up. It's a great program. What the American Red Cross is asking of us is that the fire department actually comes to your house. We'll do a brief fire safety evaluation. We're not going to nitpick your house apart. If we see something that looks totally unsafe, whether it's extension cords running through doors, different stuff like that, point things out like that, talk to you about your plan of getting out of a house. House fires burn quickly now, so there's a lot of emphasis on teaching people how to get out of their houses as fast as possible. Nothing makes any fireman happier than hearing everybody's out of the house. Smoke detectors are a key thing with that. Any second that you can, cutoff of the time to get out is better. So if you can get active, notified of that fire as quickly as possible. Most people in newer houses have the hardwired smoke detectors that they're wired right into your system. So if one goes off, they all go off in the entire house. That isn't what they're replacing them with. These are standalone detectors. So I guess we're kind of keying on the older houses, the ones that don't have the hardwired ones. The modular house is different. I guess basically anybody that doesn't have the hardwired systems in their house, even though those do need to be replaced, every 10 years, this isn't part of the program that the Red Cross is running. So if anybody in our area has interest in having us come to your house, like you say, it's probably going to take a matter of maybe a half hour to an hour. We'll talk to you about fire safety in general. The caveat to this is we actually have to install the detectors to make sure they're put into proper locations and that they get put up and they're operational. Way too many times people will get something and they procrastinate putting it off, especially if you're unable to climb a ladder to get up to where they need to be. Putting them on the side of the wall where you can reach isn't effective. So the firemen will actually do the installation of them, have them operational before they leave, and it's a simple one-page form to fill out. We were here, we talked to you, and send the paperwork in. There's no cost whatsoever. We have the Red Cross provides the detectors. We can put up to 3 detectors in each house. So if anybody has any interest in having us, contact myself at the fire department. We have the forms at the municipal center also that they can stop in there or call, and basically we'll just set up an appointment. We'll have, like I said, we got a couple guys on the department that are all excited about coming around and speaking to you about fire prevention, fire safety, and helping you with some free detectors. So
What a good deal. You get 3 of these, they put it up for you, and this is just in Grand Rapids, so.
And our coverage area, I mean,
Yeah.
every area, every fire department in the state's eligible to do it. I believe Rapids is doing it. I'm not positive. We can always check and find out.
Yeah.
I know everybody's available if they do it. Sometimes it's, hopefully it's not a staffing issue that we can keep coming up with guys that are able to come out and get them in your house for you. Like you say, we want to prevent as many fires as we can. We get a lot of help through the Shriners. We get a lot of our stuff that we hand out to the kids during fire prevention week comes from the Shriners. They run the burn hospitals in the state and stuff, and everything that they give us is free. And it's like, boy, this is too good to be true. And I guess the way they justify it, they say if we can prevent one person from getting burned and having to go through our burn hospital, we can save $1 million, because the Shriner hospitals, it's all free of charge. It's an amazing program. It's a great bunch of people. They are really passionate about burn prevention. They have neat little things that I've actually been taking around to some of the tree farms and stuff with Christmas coming up, with the people that have the real trees in their house. They need to keep them watered. Just a little friendly reminders that that they actually gave us some little paper ornaments to hand out when people buy their trees and stuff, to just to remind people, take care of it, think about what you have. It's a holiday season, and we don't want anybody to have a bad holiday season. So.
No, definitely not. And when you leave, you want to make sure it's well watered or have someone do that for you. Those trees can dry out relatively quickly. Well, I want to thank you both for coming. We're out of time here today, and we're going to invite you, Arnie, next week. Well, we could have you next week. We're going to invite you next month, and you'll have a different guest with you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm planning on having Chief Mel Peterson to come in and sit down with you.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. So look forward to learning more about the police department and anything else that's maybe new in the month of December. And otherwise, I want to thank you again, and thank you guys for joining us. We got to come up with a name for this show, and hopefully we can do it monthly and get the word out about the town of Grand Rapids. Again, thanks for joining us here on Wisconsin Rapids Community Media. I'm Tom Loucks for the City of Wisconsin Rapids.